nga bwe twagambye twabawadde statement through Kampala Metropolitan naye twagala just okuddawo okubagamba nti kakatambi ke twalabye nga full figure bamu assaultinga twagala okubategeeza nti yaloopye omusango era ogwo omusango gutambula era tugenda gutambuza nga bwe tutera okutambuza Madam ya welcome nga bwe tutera okutambuza emisango egyo era abamutuusizaako obuzibu obwo obujulizi bwe bunaleetebwa obumala tujja mutwala mu kooti. Ekyokubiri izi waliwo agambye nti omanyi ayina emisango mingi, emisango egyo giriwa namwe muveeyo mukoleki mugitambuze. Poliisi si kyekitongole ekisobola okutulira omusango gw'omuntu bwe banga tulina obujulizi obusobola okutwala omuntu oyo mu kooti. Waliwo mukwano gwange ayogedde ku kya nti poliisi tutya nti muyinza okwekubirira mu kalulu kano, mu luzungu kye twaliyise being partisan. Poliisi amateeka ge tukwasa ne bweba mu elections mateeka agali mu lujjudde, tetulinayo mateeka ge tukwasisa ga mu nkukutu. Era bwe tukutwala mu kooti ku tteeka lyakolebwa abantu, ate tewaliwo nkola gye tukola etali mu mateeka. Yes, weewaawo olusi tufunamu okwesika ne ba politicians nga bwe mumanyi nti akalulu mubeeramu okwesika kungi, naye tugezaako nnyo okulaba nti buli kimu tukitambuza mu ddembe. We tutategeregana na ba politicians tujagezaako okwogera nabo okulaba nti buli kimu kitambulira mu mateeka. So temubeera n'okweraliikirira nti poliisi ejja kwekubirira. Ekisembayo ye mukwano gwange kyaraisinze nti balaba abantu bakwatibwa nga mu bifo bya Kasubi nga byekuusanga ebya Aidan disorderly. Aidan disorderly tetukyakwasa teeka nti kubanga omuntu talina kyakukola ali idle, naye abantu abamu be mulaba kati nga Kasubi gyayogeddeko ate agambye mu ssaawa nga 2 ez'ekiro. Mukimanyi bulungi waliwo olusi bwe tuba n'abavubuka abakwata mu nsawo z'abantu, abagula amamotoka g'abantu nga gali mu jaamu ne basikulamu ensawo, amasimu, banyaga obusimu bw'abantu ne badduka. So bw'olaba poliisi nga ekola ebikwekweto ng'ebyo, manya nti tuba tugezaako okutaasa abantu n'ebintu byabwe ng'amateeka bwe gatulagira. Ate n'ekirala abantu batera naye ate nga tebali mu uniform. Teriyo teeka ligana mu poliisi atali mu uniform kukwata muntu. Wano mu luzungu mbawaddeyo sample nti omupoliisi tajja kulaba nga omenya omusango oba nga oli kumpi kumenya etteeka, asooka adduka ewaka ewuwe ateekeko uniform then akomewo akusange ng'okyakola ki, practically tekisoboka. Then n'okubajjukiza nti mujjukire nti etteeka likiriza omuntu yenna n'atali mu poliisi okukwata omumenyi w'amateeka. So bwe besobola okukkiriza omuntu wa bulijjo, gwe etteeka kyeri eriba ligaana omupoliisi atali mu uniform. Just ekikulu omupoliisi kweyanjula, kukwata bulungi, then n'ekirala kutwala ku station ne bakukyajinga wansi w'etteeka eririyo. Bwe bakusanga nga toyina musango gwomenye ne bakulekula ate ne bakulekulira mu budde. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. Wanje ekyo ekikwata ku kipozi processes tujja kuba tuvaayo ne Electoral Commission tubawe guidelines ezina tujja tukwogera nammwe ku bintu ebikwatagana n'enkuba z'enkiiko, rallies n'ebintu ng'ebyo. tujja kuba tujja tubawe comprehensive explanations ezikwatagana ne engeri gye tujja okwagalamu abantu oba abanabyabufuzi bakubemu enkuŋŋaana zaabwe n'ebirala n'ebirala. Yes, the third issue which my colleague raised, if I was to interpret it, she's trying to allay a fear that police would be partisan. Is that true? One, the rules governing these elections are in the open. The regulations are in the open. The laws which Uganda Police Force enforces are not hidden. These are rules, regulations, laws which are circulating all over. And even whoever we usually take on, let it be in an election, let it be anywhere, we handle him in accordance with the law. When we are charging a politician or his followers or a political community, we charge them under the laws of this country. So all police actions are guided by law. So I don't know against what premise are you fearing that this time round we are not going to go by the law. The challenge is maybe if the law was partisan. And you know very well that we are not the ones who make the laws, but the people make these laws through their representatives. But for us, what we do, we enforce laws. Two is we have had incidents where we have altercations with a number of political actors. But every time when we do, we explain circumstances under which. And on most occasions, it is because of violation of certain regulations, which we always mention. But I know at some point we are going to head towards a political environment where a number of these activities will be open, people will be canvassing for votes, but those rules we shall be coming out. Actually, maybe what I need to tell you is that at some point we are going to come out comprehensively and give you the do's and don'ts from a security perspective. If you have challenges with them, please find a way of reaching us so that we harmonize. But otherwise, we don't intend to be partisan. We intend to follow all the regulations as and how they will be laid. If we have an incident or two where one of our own misbehaves, you will need to understand such a situation and also note that at times you need to escalate your matter above that officer so that he is realigned in accordance with our disciplinary and professional code. Otherwise, the officers are briefed. The officers are, we have a lot of expectation at command level that they exercise their police privileges, powers and duties in a professional manner. So let's not speculate that police is going to be partisan. Somebody talked about community policing and particularly centered on police actions which involve the arrest of persons during late evening hours. He was saying that they arrest them in what appears to be under the accusation of being idle and disorderly. Unless we know a particular incident and the facts associated with that arrest, sometimes you may see somebody being arrested, but when he's being arrested on intelligence, on information. Two, the issue of, and I need to clarify, an arrest of somebody by an officer who is not in uniform is not an offense. Let's let's not ask that again, because this is a matter we have clarified. Or if you are not satisfied, you go and read the laws extensively. If you don't believe me, at least believe the law. An arrest can even be executed by a mwananchi. The powers of arrest are vested in civilians and in the police. When the police officer is not in uniform, he is required to identify himself. If, for instance, a detective was not putting on uniform and he found you either committing an offense or about to commit an offense, he does not, practically he cannot tell you to first wait so that he first goes and puts on uniform and then comes back to arrest you. The framers of these laws knew all that. It was not going to be tenable to only be arrested by men and women in uniform. It is only required for him to identify himself and tell you, I am a police officer, so and so, and I am arresting you or I am apprehending you on the following allegations or suspicions. So there is no law preventing him from arresting you. 2, when he arrests you, at the end of the day, should you be found to have been arrested on flimsy or unsubstantiatable allegations, you will be released. Now, when it comes to offenses of, like for example, there's no doubt there are communities, and at particularly those awkward hours, when we have very challenging and suspicious conduct by some of our youths. You will recall there are times when you find some youth pickpocketing, breaking into people's vehicles during traffic jam. Now, how best do you want us to arrest them? And when we arrest, those are not idlers. We are not arresting idle and disorderly persons. We are actually arresting persons who are either committing or about to commit offenses. Which offenses, by the way, are of grave public concern. People have come out and shown concern. These youths are pickpocketing people. And you have talked about Kasubi. I hope you know what happens in Kasubi. Actually, you have given the right place where these arrests are most likely needed. But the most important is the mode of arrest, the time, turnaround time within which a suspect is disposed of if he's found to be innocent. Now, lastly, you talked about extortion. Now, extortion, we have given people guidelines time and again how best you can report an extortion allegation. Once there is extortion by a police officer, we have a disciplinary mechanism, which is twofold. Either you go to the police professional standards unit, and this officer is identified, isolated for punishment, or you approach his superiors. And if action is not taken by his most immediate superior, then you bring it to the attention of police management. There are people who have taken those steps before and have got results. So this is the song we are always repeating, but we shall continue saying it, because we may not influence his behavior as to whether he will extort or not, but at least we take charge of the reaction towards his misconduct, and that is by bringing the officer to book. Thank you very much.